Hey, Arrow, how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing, Dennis?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
What an amazing project that you are a part of right now, because I'm telling you, music needs these kinds of stories in the way that, because even the younger generation says, this is my music. Grateful Dead is my band. You're right. It is your band, but it was our band first. But we need these stories so they can have the history.
Yeah, no, it's true. There's the weirdest thing about the Grateful Dead is that there are more Deadheads now than there were in 1995,
I love
and
that.
those kids generally, when I talk with them, really they've got it. They understand what it's about and what the values are, but they obviously are a little short on the history. And this book will be kind of a perfect primer for them about just the way things started. Hunter once told me, the Grateful Dead started a long time before they picked up instruments, and this is the story of how it started. Him, Hunter, and Jerry meeting in Palo Alto in 1961 with other people. Willie Legate and Alan Trist and Brigid Meier, and Jerry played guitar and Hunter wrote things, and they didn't know it, but they were starting a 50-year partnership.
Absolutely.
40.
Because in a very strong way, didn't they start out with a community? In other words, they built their own community, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Exactly. That they called it the scene, and that's what the book is about: is their scene in Palo Alto in that year. And the two things about the Grateful Dead was, one is that the improvisational side, which makes them really different from almost all other rock bands. And secondly, this relationship to the audience as a result of the acid tests, where they discovered that they weren't the entertainment. The entertainment was everybody in the room. They either supplied the music soundtrack or didn't, because they didn't always play. But what that left was an attitude that the people standing in front of them were not lesser, but they were peers. They were their partners in a quest. And even though, they ended up playing in stadiums to 50,000 people and all this, the fact is that they still thought of these people as their partners. And that the Deadheads can feel that, even if they wouldn't necessarily put it into words.
I love this quote. If you thought you were one of us, you were welcome to join in. And that just says everything about the Grateful Dead.
Exactly. And the thing is, and what people realized, in particular in the band, is everybody, you have a Grateful Dead concert, everybody in the room is in the Grateful Dead.
Yep.
And that's one way of looking at it. Even the guy selling hot dogs in the back who's listening to the Red Sox game. It's like, but the crew and the band and the audience, we're all part of the Gestalt. It's a slightly fancy word to use, but the thing that was the Grateful Dead, wasn't just the people on the stage.
I love the way that you take us all the way back, because you can't go to Google and find out all this information. I mean, from sitting there sharing cups of coffee and then renting music equipment. I mean, it's like you just never imagine the Grateful Dead even going through something like this, but they did.
Oh, absolutely. They had, again, when they started, it was convenient because they were working in a studio, in a music store, which had, which gave lessons as well. So they could borrow instruments. But, some of their earliest equipment, Jerry's mother bought for them. So, they were young guys in a garage band, just like every other garage band that ever was.
And I'm wondering if that is part of the attraction of the band as well, because we all loved growing up walking by somebody playing in the garage, and it's like they like you talked about it. It's like the music was always changing, it was always evolving, and so they were the forever garage band.
And based on improvisation, which they were, that left it open to add, things not in any, okay, this year we'll do a reggae album, but but reggae, but Jerry started listening. I mean, they all listened to everything, and Jerry started listening to reggae in the mid '70s, and you can start hearing it in Shakedown Street and what was it? I was realizing Crazy Fingers has a real reggae thing going on in the middle of it, or anything else. Gospel tune, Black Money River is just a straight up gospel tune, and they are the great American jukebox. They each brought some kind of different music, and it merged.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just the way the book even plays out. Everything is merging, because look at who's been invited to this. You get to write in it. We've also got John Mayer writing in it. I mean, everything is merging together as one. And as a fan of the music, it just makes your heart happy to hold this.
Yeah, I thought John did a wonderful foreword, and Brigid contributed. She was there, so her writing is just superb. Yeah. And I just try to give a little, sort of a context introduction, and it's an amazing document. I mean, the point is that Hunter was young, but he had the writing chops even then. Not even so much writing per se, but the observational chops to see people and to be able to depict them. In particular, Jerry, because he's the most larger than life character. Mm-hmm. And so it's his first draft at what he's going to, be doing the rest of his life. But the talent is obviously, already there.
Yeah. Would you say that this is a dear future reader moment? I mean, to find it locked up and hidden away and now shared with we who are in this generation, it's almost like a dear future reader moment.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he realized that,
Yeah.
He did it because he wanted to write a novel, and it was an exercise in his early work, and then he set it down on a shelf and didn't worry about it too much, and then sort of thanks to Maureen, his widow, it pops up, and there you go. It's really what particularly I hope that younger deadheads that have the feeling but don't know all the history so much will pick up on it.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the things, I mean, with today's streaming services, which we didn't have back in the 60s and 70s, the thing is that you can get that music readily available. And I found myself going from your pages right into, whoa, I'm going to listen to the Grateful Dead now for a long time. And so, I mean, I love the digital services.
Yeah, it's so much more convenient when the community that grew around tape trading in the 80s was really quite wonderful, and it was more work. I mean, you wrote letters literally, and it was just a somewhat more, I don't know how to put it, face to face, really, because eventually you'd meet the people you traded with at a show, mm-hmm. And this is all good. But the fact is now, go to archive.com and get crazy.
I love it. Dennis, 10 minutes with you is not enough, but man, I'll tell you what, I'm so proud of you for being a part of this project the entire darn way. You got to come back to this show anytime in the future.
I will be happy to. All you have to do is call.
Excellent. Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
All right. I'll do my very best. You too.